Hey everyone, it's Patty from pspapercrafts. Happy Friday. We're going to make another fun fold card today. We're making a triple point card. So it's got the triple points. I saw a bunch of these on Pinterest and most of them were square. It's very easy to make this any size you want, to be honest. So I'll show you how to measure and create the points and all that good stuff. But isn't this so cute? So today I use the it's the product of the month for June. It's called Wild Bunch, and I just think it's really adorable, all these little critters here. And it has a happy birthday, thank you, hi friends, sending love, just a note. So in the US, if you make a purchase of $75, that's before shipping and tax, and after rewards, if you claim rewards, it's whatever your total is. $75, you can get this for $5 during the month of June, and then they have them until they really run out. But I thought it was cute. I went with the snail, and I used the Beautiful Ordinary Life Designer Series paper, and this has just really fun different patterns. It's black and white on one side, and then it has all these great patterns and colors, so I thought that would be cute. And let's see, what else did I use? I just colored it with our blends. So this is Pool Party and Flirty Flamingo, Lost Lagoon card base, and Flirty Flamingo. So I'll have all the information. I'll have a project sheet down below. There'll be a link. If you click on more in the description, you'll see all the links, and one will be a project sheet. So let us move on to what we're going to make today. Today we're using that beautiful fern paper. It is the Moonlit Flora. I call it the fern paper. So this has some really beautiful patterns. You know, I love, my favorite product is our Designer Series paper, so almost everything I make uses that. Not everything, but almost everything. So for this card, and I'm going to tell you the best way to kind of keep things in order, but I'm using Berry Burst, and then I'm using Secret Sea. So those are the colors I'm using. So first, let's get the card base. So, and then I'll take you through the kind of the order of keeping things so that you know what you're cutting and what goes together. So this is a 4 1/4 by 11, and then you're going to score it 5 1/2. And this is an A2 size card, so it ends up being 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Fits in our medium size envelopes or an invitation envelope here in the US. So the first thing we're going to do is create our first kind of triangle here. So the way we're going to do this, and we're going to do this over and over and over again, it's very easy to do. We are going to measure the center of this. So this is 4 1/4. So let me get my ruler. So we have our ruler, and I'm just going to put a little pencil mark at half of 4 1/4 is 2 1/8. So the math's not hard, but you know, you have to do it. And then we're going to get our trimmer out, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut from this mark to the score line on both sides. Okay. And again, this is what we're going to do over and over again. So whatever size paper you use, you just want to make your points and your pieces from the middle of the bottom to the fold or to the top. So we're going to do this on multiple pieces. What do I have here? Oh. Okay. I didn't do a very good job. Let's do that again. I feel like this is in the way here. So let's try that again. I'll probably end up messing it up here, but I think this was kind of in the way. Okay, it made it a little bit rough. I'll sand that down. Then this way, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to get our mark, which is really the point, and we're going to just put it up. I hope I'm in camera here. So we're going to put that score line in the groove and the mark in the groove. And I don't like to come up from the point. I'm going to go down from the top. Sometimes it just pushes and bends that point, okay? So that's our first step. We are going to save these and hopefully trimming this down. I don't think it trimmed it down enough to make a problem. So let's save these. Okay, so that's our first step. That's our card base, okay? It looks like this. And then we're going to cut all these angles. This will end up coming here. I'm going to layer it, and this will come here. We're going to layer it with other patterns, okay? So the next one is our, and you can use different colors if you want different patterns, but I use the same pattern for these pieces, and then I used a different pattern for these pieces. So I'm going to say this is our inside layer, 4 by 5 1/4. This is our mat, 4 by 5 1/4. 3 3/4 by 5. Okay, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to mark, and I guess I could just mark it right here. So this is 4 across, so I'm going to mark it at 2. Okay, and then this is 3 3/4 across. So half of 3 3/4 is 1 7/8. Okay, so right here. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put that point, that mark here, up to the point. Okay, mark to the point. And again, you're just going to repeat, and we have to do our erase our pencil marks if we have them. So the mark to the point, and we're going to start in the middle on this one and go up and down so we don't crush the point, okay? And we're going to keep all of these pieces, and then we're going to do this one, the mark, so I could see the mark here to the point. Oops. And don't move it. A lot of times you end up moving it when you close the thing. Mark to point. Mark to point. And again, we're going to start this in the middle. All right, so let's put this aside for now and get some of this started, okay? So now we have our 2 pieces here. We have our 2 white pieces, and we have our 2 pattern pieces, okay? And then we have this, our white mat, and that will sit here. So we're going to just glue all these down. I am going to use liquid glue. I'll probably speed this up because it's, you know, watching paint dry kind of thing. I am using liquid glue because I want to get into these corners here, and I don't want to, you know, with the tape runners, it doesn't always work that well. So we just want to go all the way around, and I'm going to speed it up. I'm bringing in my silicone mat. Okay, so we have these pieces done, and this is how this is going to look. All right, now if you had a pattern, like this is an all-over pattern, you might have to just keep in mind. I think it will be okay because it's all going the same way, but I haven't done it with that, so I guess the stripes would be considered that. I think it'll work though. So then we want to put in our inside layer, and then we can attach these down. Now the inside layer I'm not stamping on. It doesn't give you a lot of room. I'm going to make this a thank you card, so I want the room to write. All right, so this time I am going to use my tape runner. It's the Seal Plus. That's what I like to use. And I do like to use this on an inside layer. Oops. Got a little glue there. I'll take that off. I do like to use that for an inside layer so that sometimes you see the glue through a white layer. All right, let me just get this little goober off here. Okay. So now these will fit here. And there's this little area up here. I think it's okay. I mean, I guess you could go higher or wider with these, but I think it's okay. It doesn't bother me. So let's put these down. And we're just building our card, building our triangles. And the top part is a little bit, I'm not going to say tricky, but it seems a little wrong when you're doing it. But I think it will make sense. Okay, and then we'll put this one down. So far it's cute even without doing these other triangles, I think. All right. This seems like it's got to go up a little bit. I don't know if it's too late. It's not meeting here. I think it's a little too low. Let me try this again. Hopefully I don't ruin it. See how it's not meeting? And it might be because I trimmed off that little part. I don't know if that's going to affect it. So here's my handy dandy little tool. And I don't really like to do this with liquid glue. But we don't have a choice. I think it's going to work. Just go slow, slow, slow. So this I got many, many, many years ago from Creative Memories. It's a sticker remover tool or something, and it they still have it. I looked. Creative Memories had gone out of business. I used to buy stuff from them all the time, and then they're back in business. I'm not sure what or why. Maybe it's the white that's off a little bit. Okay, good enough. All right, so then this will close like this. Yeah, I feel like this whole piece is off a little bit with my measurements, but I'm good with it because nobody's going to inspect it. You're going to have all this other stuff on it. All right, so let's put this aside for now, and let's work on these pieces. So I did this a little bit differently. So on this one, I did not put a mat between the Flirty Flamingo and the striped paper. This time I am, because I feel like it's very dark. And I feel like the white just pulls it up. So on this one, and I'll put this in the instructions. So on this one, this is, let me make sure I have this right. So this is Secret C is 4 by 5 1/4. The white is 3 3/4 by 5, and then this one is 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. All right. So we are going to we're going to cut the triangles from here, but we're not going to use the inside piece. We're going to use the outside triangles. I hope that makes sense. So let's mark them. Let me get my ruler out. I'm going to mark them all. So this is 4. So the middle will be 2. Hard to see on this. I think I've got it. This one is 3 3/4. So the middle is 1 7/8. And then this one is a little different. This is 3 1/2. So the middle is, I wrote it down, 1 3/4. That's going to be hard to see too. I think I'm going to start with that one while it's in my eye. So we're going to get out our trimmer. I could have used a white pencil, I think. Or you could actually do it on the back. That might be a better way to do it. I can see it. I don't know if you could see it. So it's here to the point. So we're going to use this piece. And then here to the point. This piece we're not going to use, but you can use it for another card, for something else. So we use that and that. We're going to use the white. Same thing. The mark to the point. And I didn't erase any of my marks. I feel like I didn't do a good job at that point, but we're not using that. We're using this piece. We're not using the top piece. And then the mark to the point. So we're going to use this piece. This one we save for another project. And then we're going to use this one as well. Same thing. So you're going to have a layer of pieces, or 3 pieces to make that layer together, that you can use for something else. Maybe for another one of these cards, and you alternate the papers. Okay, so these we're not using, but again, you can make another card and use these. These we will use. All right, so I think we're done with this. And we're going to do the same thing, and I'm probably going to just do the same thing. I'll speed it up. Make sure that they're going the right way. All right, so let me glue these down and we'll be back. All right, we've got those pieces done. Now this is the part that's a little bit strange. So you're going to have these pieces this way, right? You might think they would go this way, but they don't. They go this way. And what you're going to do is you're going to turn it, and you have to make sure that it doesn't go up here, over here, or over here. So you're going to have one go like that, and the same thing. You've got to look at all the points to make sure they're not going outside of the card. All right? It's pretty, right? So the first thing we're going to do is get this one set. And then we have to figure out where to glue it, right? So we only want to put glue up here. We don't want to put it here, because this is going to lift up. So what we want to do is get it in position and then lift this up. And then draw a pencil line. Hopefully I can see it. And then we're going to glue above that pencil line. All right, I don't know if you can see it, but I can see it. So we don't really want to even get too close to it. We don't want anything oozing out and causing the card to stick closed. So this one is going to come like this. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to cross it this way. Look at our top, look at our bottom. Make sure it crisscrosses nicely. Lift this up. Oops. Oh. Don't move it. I think that's good. And do this. And then I'll have to erase the pencil marks. I'm not sure you could see them, but... And then this, we're almost done. It's kind of a long card, but I think it's worth it in the end. And it is pretty simple once you get the idea of how the pieces go. Ta-da! Did get a little glue here. So I'm going to just erase these pencil marks. Make sure there's no other pencil marks showing. I don't think they showed. I think they were all pretty good. So that's our basic card. I decided to use the circles again. I used the stylish shapes. So for this card, I used the largest and then the second largest in to do this one. For this one, I'm using the second largest and then the third largest. And I thought... I'll just put the cap on here. I thought we would use the, where is it? The Fern and Flora. I'm going to use this big stamp and the Thankful for You. So on the big stamp, the big fern, I'm using soft sea foam. And I want it to be very light. So, and soft sea foam is very light, but I want to stamp it off first and then just put it right here. Okay, so it's very light. You don't really see it too much, but it's there. And then we will use Secret Sea and do the sentiment, Thankful for You. We'll see how this looks. Let's see, we want the fern to tilt a little bit. Thankful for You. So hopefully you can see that. It just gives it a nice little background. And then we can just put this together on the circle. And then this is going to sit here. You're pretty safe. I mean, you don't want any of the dimensionals to be way out there, but I think you're pretty safe. So we're going to put dimensionals down. I mean, you don't go all the way out to the edge anyway. And take the backs off. Almost done. So for this one, I mean, it's kind of an all-over pattern, but if it was directional, you want to make sure the direction is going the right way. So we'll put this right here. Thankful for You. And again, I didn't do an inside sentiment. And let me get some bling. I have these dewdrop embellishments, so I think I'll use the white. There's Secret Sea and Old Olive and the clear. I'm calling them white, but they're clear. And I think I'm just going to put them down here. And we'll put one up here. Okay, you could put them on your sentiment, whatever you want. So these are the triple point cards. I think this is so fun for a kid. Celebrate. And then this is pretty for a lady as a thank you. So let's see what we're making next week. This is my inspiration calendar that I send to my email subscribers each month. And next week, we're making an arched pop-out card. That should be fun. You can get this if you subscribe to my email list. In my the description below the video, there's click more and there's links there. You'll have the project sheet with the measurements for these cards. You could subscribe to my email list. You could shop my online store and get the products. So the calendar on Fridays, I usually do a technique or a fun fold card, and then I do sketches, I do color combos. I don't do videos of them. You can see them on my Facebook page or my blog, and then these are just ideas, reminders, things like that. So I hope you had a good day today watching this and enjoyed it, and I will see you next Friday. Have a good one.